All right, let's talk about Venezuela. Um, South and Central America have been a colonial nightmare for the populace down there, and it has never stopped. There has been only a slight reprieve, and the chaos that colonialism and the control by Western corporations, particularly the U.S. corporations, has been absolutely devastating down there. And the reason for this boils down to only one thing: money. Money is the root of all evil. Money is the root of all chaos. Money is the root of all oppression. It is a it is thousands of years old, and corporations are nothing different from robber barons of the days of nobility and monarchies. And if you think that monarchies have disappeared, and nobility has disappeared, and aristocrats have disappeared, then you are wrong, because they have never disappeared. The monarchies, the nobility, the aristocrats are alive and well, and they, through the engine of money, have essentially kept us in a state of constant war, whether it's the actual physical war or it's the world war for social supremacy, for class supremacy. It is the root and cause of all devastation globally. And it has been a driver for centuries by the West. And it has been the white robber barons of the West who have promoted this insanity for centuries. It has been the root cause of racism. It has been the root cause of classism. It has been the root cause of subjugation and oppression. Wars have always been around, but these wars are on economic fronts. They're on physical fronts. They're on emotional fronts. They are on mental fronts. It is an all-out war that has been going on for centuries, with devastated truth and justice, equality, and it has turned vast majorities of the human population into levels of insane thinking and disconnection from the root of what peace and stability could be. And that is what we currently live in, a nightmare of insanity. They have promoted and propagated these to the point that we are blind to it. We do not see, because we have bought into it, because we have allowed it in, and we have promoted and sustained. We need to do away with money. We need intellectual labor. We need physical labor. we need spiritual labor. We need to be reconnected to the physical world that we live in, which is the planet. We need to be connected with the very nature that we can see when we step out outdoors. That is what we need. For that is the avenue to the utopia that we all know can exist. Utopia is not a dream. It's not a fantasy. It is just a matter of will, of intellect, in knowing what is truth and what it is not. It is black and white. We are either black, where we live in a system that we allow, or we can live in a system where we find purpose and will drive in direction, where we get up every day excited, where we broaden our horizons, where we focus on things that truly matter and the preservation of our planet. The very thing that gives us everything we could possibly want and more, or we can allow it to break down so that all that goes away. And therefore, our very existence goes away, and our extinction is assured. We must focus on taking our population off planet and finding new worlds where we can plant and build up so that we can be the caretakers. That is what we need. That is what our future is. That is our purpose. We need to grow mentally, physically, emotionally, and bring that trinity of evolution and enlightenment. We are the force. We are the drivers. We are the ones responsible for our own futures. For whether we go down in the abyss of blackness or we strive for the enlightened, bright future that we could all have. And Venezuela is a prime example of this evil, of this self-delusion, because we keep buying, we keep playing by the rules of the few that we voluntarily ascribe to. And that is why Venezuela is facing what it's facing. Understand, borders is our prison. Race is a prison. Money is a prison. Land ownership is a prison. Working for these robber barons is a prison. We should not be living to work. We should be doing in order to brighten our future. We should be working for the greater community, the community that includes the very nature we see and we desperately need. We need to be the caretakers. We need to be the responsible caretakers, the enlightened caretakers. We cannot allow these robber barons to control the very essence of all that is important to us all collectively, globally, to control the narrative, the theme, and the passage. For the passage is just down, and it is bringing us down. Living to work in order to survive, in order to have simple pleasures that is ephemeral, ethereal, which has no purpose, which has no direction, which has no life, is a prison. Let's pay attention to Venezuela. Let's focus our energy, and let's drive out the robber barons. Let's drive out the selfishness, which is self-destructive. Let's eliminate ignorance, because ignorance is the root of money. It is the root of masculinity, toxic masculine. It is the root of all that is negative. It is why we buy in to the prison of money. Pride, greed, prejudice, everything that is negative is through money and thereby ignorance. We must throw off the shackles of ignorance. We must be self-aware. We must be cogent. We must be woke. We must be clear. And we must understand that everything that we want, we can have. We must come to understand that money and the ignorance that's behind it will only oppress us, suppress us, and take away our potential, our happiness, our peace. It will take away our liberties. It is always taking away our liberty. It is always taking away hope. For in the system, hope is not non-existent. And if we continue to value the ignorance of money, if we continue to praise money and thereby the ignorance behind it, then we are doomed. I repeat, we are doomed. We are given freely in the bosom of our planet, Earth. And to throw that away for something so inconsequential as money is the pathway to apocalypse. The planet will be around, but we will not. The future we could have, we will not. We can state we love our children. We can state all this, that we want a future. We can state we will have hope. We can state all this. But if we do not eliminate money and the ignorance their backs, then we face annihilation by our own ignorance, by our own apathy, by our own greed and perversion. We must do away with it. We must stand up for Venezuela, because Venezuela is us. We must force the robber barons out. Thank you for your time.